Hello, and welcome to my special module on birth physiology. Pregnant parents, you need to know this stuff. You can hear it from me, you can read more about it, you can listen to others talk about it, and then repeat all of that. What I'm saying is, you need to let this stuff seep into your brain, your mind, and into your belief system. Your body is amazing, and your body is capable of birth. Let's learn why. Because in this video, I want to share about this incredible gift that nature has given us for our birth. So let's talk about a very important hormone, oxytocin. Oxytocin is the love hormone, the hormone of calm and connection, the most important hormone of birth, breastfeeding, and attachment. This hormone will be your best friend in labor, birth, and postpartum. The number one most important fact to know is that oxytocin is released when we feel loved, supported, safe, and happy. Now, most likely you're very familiar with oxytocin. You've previously felt the effects of it when you've been in romantic, intimate settings, feeling all loved up, and in times when you are having fun trying to create a baby and during orgasm. So, thinking about all those types of experiences, the all loved up, the intimate with your partner, tell me, what kind of environment did you feel safest in those situations? Probably not usually in a public place where strangers were watching, monitoring, and observing you. We need to feel safe, private, and relatively unobserved for the hormone oxytocin to flow freely. And we need oxytocin present for labor to get started. Now, if you've done my course or you're about to do my course, you'll learn a little bit about the muscle layers of the uterus and how the uterus works through labor and birth. And as a mother moves through pregnancy, towards the end of pregnancy, the uterus is developing oxytocin receptors. Let's think of these like keyholes waiting for a key to open them. As you get closer to the time your baby is ready to be born, there are more and more oxytocin receptors developing here. These receptors cause the uterus to become more and more sensitive to oxytocin because these receptors bind to oxytocin. Think of oxytocin being like the key to unlock the keyholes. When there is enough oxytocin keys turning the lock in the keyholes on the uterus, it triggers a cascade of events that leads to the movement of the uterine muscles, also known as a contraction, or as I prefer to say, a surge or a wave. And this is one of the main functions needing to occur for labor to start naturally. There are a lot of different functions that need to also come into play. And it's also worthwhile pointing out that the process of natural labor and birth has not actually been studied that much yet. So it's safe to say there's still a lot that is not known about what is involved in the process. But we do know this much. Oxytocin plays a key role. And it works alongside a number of other processes involving other hormones like progesterone, estrogen, and prostaglandins, plus processes happening with the baby who will release cortisol to help develop the organs and lungs. We do know that the readiness of the baby is coordinated with the readiness of the mother. So once the process is triggered, labor starts. And as labor progresses, oxytocin will be continuing to flow. Or should I say, as oxytocin flows, labor progresses. A laboring mum's body needs this oxytocin for labor to keep moving along. And oxytocin is best released in situations and environments where a mum is feeling safe, supported, and loved. What oxytocin does not appreciate is bright lights, lots of people watching, strangers asking lots of questions. It does not like it when you feel vulnerable, threatened, or nervous. Think about oxytocin being like an introvert on a stage. It's functioning just fine behind the curtains in the dark with some supportive loved ones. But if the curtains open, the bright lights are shining on you, there's an audience out there watching and judging, and you've got stage fright. Oxytocin is just going to run away. And what's more, if a tiger turns up, the stress hormones are going to switch on straight away. Oxytocin is out of there real fast, and your body will do its best to stop labor because it's getting the message that you are not safe here and now. And if you've learned about the fight or flight state versus the calm healing state in my courses, you'll know that a laboring mother's body just won't work the same way when fear is present. And when oxytocin disappears, this is going to cause a change in how labor is progressing, or not progressing, which often leads to the start of the intervention process. However, if a laboring mother is feeling relaxed, private, safe, supported, and things keep progressing, oxytocin, as the hormone of calm and connection, is going to help her move through the function of labor and birth. Because it is produced in the brain, it gives us good feelings. Have you heard of mums talking about the sense of being very focused and inwards and connected to a baby in labor? Of a feeling of a natural high, a feeling of euphoria when meeting baby. This is thanks to oxytocin. I also have to say that the breathing and relaxation techniques you'll learn in your hypnobirthing course will beautifully support and assist to maximize these feelings too. Oxytocin will be at its greatest peak when baby starts to crown. It's there to help you through the intensity of baby moving down through the birth path, onto the perineum, and out into the world. And yes, it's responsible for you falling in love with your baby the moment you see them. And your partner will get a huge dose too, helping the both of you to feel connected to this little one and trigger the desire to protect this baby. This baby's so vulnerable. These hormones are there to make sure we have intense feelings of care and protection so we don't wander off home without them. It's all part of a mutual regulation system. A mother's body after childbirth will adjust to the right temperature for baby. There's this sense of calm, connection, bonding, promoting instinctive mothering behaviors, and this state supports switching on dopamine, the pleasure and reward center in the brain, so that the mother feels good caring for baby. Her baby is a source of pleasure and reward. This occurs in all mammals to help promote safety and security for vulnerable newborns. Oxytocin also plays a role in the placenta releasing from the uterus. It releases when you're breastfeeding your baby. It's part of the process of milk ejection during lactation and is continuing to trigger more and more positive feelings of love and connection each time baby latches on. So yes, skin to skin contact with your baby triggers oxytocin release, and it's so important for both parents and baby in the early days of your baby's life. Oxytocin is really such a wonder hormone that it has been copied, and you may have heard of the term syntocinon or synthetic oxytocin. Synthetic oxytocin is used in situations where labor needs to be started, like in an induction situation, or when labor has stalled or stopped and needs to progress. Yes, it is the same molecule, but the difference is that natural oxytocin is made in the brain. It passes through the blood-brain barrier, while synthetic oxytocin is just injected into the bloodstream. The synthetic version won't give all the good feelings of calm, connection, comfort, and euphoria or a natural high. It might be very effective at getting the uterine muscles to get going, and sometimes it can be too effective, but it's not going to help a laboring mother feel those good feelings through the process. Which is why, more often than not, that mothers who receive the synthetic oxytocin will usually opt for an epidural to help them along the way. Not 100% of the time, because I do know mums that have coped beautifully using their hypnobirthing skills and not had an epidural, but it is more common than not. While it's not something I want you to fear, because sometimes it is needed, it is also worthwhile understanding that if you have had synthetic oxytocin and maybe other interventions too, this could contribute to the reason why a mother might not feel elated and have an immediate connection and bond to her baby. But it will come. When you can keep your baby on you, skin to skin, for as much as possible and breastfeed your baby, you'll start to regain the natural oxytocin flow, and you can receive the benefits of this hormone as the hours and days pass. Sometimes this will take effort and perseverance, but it will help. So I hope this helps you to understand a little more about the benefits of a normal, natural, physiological birth process. And you may be wondering, what does it mean when people use the word physiological? I'm going to use this definition by midwife, author, and researcher, Dr. Rachel Reed. The word physiological describes the normal function of an organism. I use the term physiological to describe a birth that involves a woman laboring and birthing her baby in a healthy and uncomplicated way without interventions that alter the functioning of her body. Physiology also encompasses all the individual variations that are not the norm, but are also not pathological. Pathological meaning when things are going wrong or there is something unhealthy happening. Physiological is basically the opposite, the body doing what it was designed and is equipped to do. So, to summarize oxytocin, it's an essential hormone for a normal, natural, physiological birth. The core requirements are that the laboring mother feels private, safe, and observed. Oxytocin is known as the key hormone, amongst others, that drives the labor, birth, and mothering process. It's involved in bonding, lactation, and stress regulation. If a predator or something threatening turns up, oxytocin is going to retreat as the stress hormones take over. Fear gets in the way of oxytocin production. We are super sensitive to the safety of our environment, which needs to be taken into consideration when you're thinking about your preferred place of birth, and plan on how you can manipulate any type of birth environment to feel as safe as possible for you. How you can support the flow of oxytocin through your pregnancy, making sure you're feeling calm and confident and have worked through or released any large fears about the birth and mothering journey. Having tools to support the oxytocin release in labor, which could include mindset, breathwork, and relaxation skills. Making sure your partner is on board with the type of birth you'd like to achieve and they know how they can best support you, and having them prepared to advocate for you if need be. Knowing that you can trust your LMC will be there to support you fully through your birth. Preparing the birth environment and knowing what you can do to enhance the space for feelings of privacy, safety, and comfort. All of these things are things I cover in the Positive Birth Hypnobirthing courses. If you haven't yet started your journey to prepare for your positive birth, check out your range of options at positivebirths.co.nz or get in touch. Let's have a chat. I'm sending you so many positive birthing wishes and a large flow of oxytocin for your labor and birth. See you again soon.